Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 39th episode of the Chess This Week. Now, this one's going to be a short episode as we have reached pretty much the fag end of the World Cup. We have reached to the semi-finals, which means almost all the players who have qualified to the semi-finals have also qualified for the candidates next year. This is because Magnus has clearly stated his intentions that he's not going to take part in the candidates or any part of the World Championship cycle. So the semi-finals, Pragnananda, after winning an epic match against Arjun Erigaisi. Now this was a crazy match. Arjun took the lead in the classical portion with a 1-0 with black. Prag hit back spectacularly with black, and it was 1-1 at the end of the classical stage. It went into the rapid tiebreakers. The first two games were peaceful draws. In the fifth game, now this was one of the turning points of the match. Arjun with the white pieces was clearly dominating this game, but Prag just turned it around brilliantly, and he even managed to win that game. Although Arjun managed to strike back with the black pieces, in the seventh game, Arjun misplayed the opening and Prag won in a convincing fashion. Arjun once again struck back, and it was 4-4 at the end of 8 games. And from round 9 onwards, it was sudden death, meaning whoever won that game takes the cake. And it was Prag who managed to effect the first win with the white pieces in the entire match and managed to seal his candidate spot. And he's only the second Indian after Vishy Anand to get into the candidates. This is a spectacular achievement by the young 18-year-old Prag. And Fabiano defeated Lenian Dominguez in an all-American matchup. He joins Prag in the semifinals. It will be Fabi versus Prag. And in the other semifinals, Abbaswan Najat broke the heart of VD and millions of Indian fans along with it with a 1.5 win, inflicting with its second defeat consecutively in the quarterfinals. This was very tough defeat for Vidit, but congratulations to Abbaso in qualifying to the semis, and he joins Magnus Carlsen, who earlier defeated Gukesh. Magnus seemed like pretty much the only player in the world who could stop Gukesh in his current form, the India number 1 against the world number 1, and Magnus prevailed in this matchup for this time. Although, if I may make a prediction, I think Magnus might have a few wins against Gukesh in the initial years, but in the future, I think Gukesh will start taking over. Bold prediction, but this is just my take on it. So this is the semifinals lineup: Magnus against Abbaso and Fabiano against Prag. The top 3 qualifies to the candidates, but since Magnus has clearly stated his intention not to play in the candidates, the 3 players apart from Magnus will qualify to the candidates. And in the women's, it's still not totally clear who is going to qualify for the candidates. We have reached the final, and it has been an impressive run by Nurgul Salimova, who also incidentally happens to be Abbaso's student, and she has reached the final after defeating Anna Muzichuk convincingly 3.5 to 1.5. She plays against Alexandra Goryachkina, who defeated Tan Zhongyi 1.5 in the semis, and also defeated Dronawali Harika in an epic quarterfinals match 4.5, 3.5. So Nurgul and Goryachkina have qualified to the candidates, and Anna Muzichuk and Tan Zhongyi play for the third place match. This is the story from the World Cup. Now there are also a few opens happening across India. The most important one being the National Championship, which is happening in Pune right now. 3 rounds have taken place. And at the end of 3 rounds, most of the usual favorites, Abhimanyu Puranik, the second seed, Setu, the third seed, Surya, the fourth seed, they have 3 out of 3. But the first seed, Abhijit Gupta, suffered an upset in the third round, and he has 2 out of 3. So early rounds in the National Championship, and there is also the Abu Dhabi Masters, which is also kind of India versus the rest of the World Championship. So many Indian players, 3 rounds over. Here also the first seed, Artemiev, was upset in the third round, and also the fourth seed, Heme Santosh Latasha, was also upset in the third round. And at the end of 3 rounds, 5 players are in the lead. This tournament also features Hans Niemann, who has 2 out of 3. Now, those are all the stories of chess being played over the board. But we also do have some updates of chess off the board. One of the most important events being that the chess playing platform giants, Chess.com and Lichess, will both halt their relationship with one of the biggest, most influential chess organizations in the world, the St. Louis Chess Club. And they will no longer provide any support or cover any of the tournaments in the wake of allegations of sexual misconduct. Lichess was the first to come out with the story of how it was not just Alejandro Ramirez who was earlier reported for sexual misconduct by several players, but also the Uzbek-born US Grandmaster Timur Gariev, who is known for giving these large blindfold simultaneously around the world. Now, Lichess stated that it has documents that show that he has faced several misconduct complaints since 2019. And Chess.com reported that Timur Gariev is suspended from playing in US events for 2 years, and his membership in the US Chess Federation is suspended for a year. But according to Lichess, the chess body, they did not deal properly with these formal complaints against the Grandmaster, and they only acted 3 months after the first complaint was rejected. This also comes under the wake of an open letter signed by more than 100 women chess players, women coaches, arbiters, managers who have experienced sexist or sexual violence perpetrated by different members of the chess community, the chess players, coaches, arbiters, and managers. And the women even went on to state that the harassment and assaults are one of the main reasons why women and young girls, especially in their teens, they stop playing chess. It's a pretty sad state of affairs, but the hope is that bringing it to light is the first step in making several improvements, several changes which can lead to chess being a safer environment for more and more girls and women players to take up the game, and that eventually they have a perfectly safe and comfortable environment. The hope is that this is the first step of 1,000-mile journey. So that's this episode of the Chess this week, and see you all soon.